Holy crap, guys. I am so excited because I finally found something I've been looking for forever. Basically, as long as I've been looking for vinyl in thrift stores, I've come across these once in a while. They're called video discs, or CEDs, otherwise known as compactous electronic discs, I think is how you say it. And basically, they're these weird plastic, almost 12-inch looking album type things that often get lobbed in there along with laser discs with LPs. And I've always found these, but I've never found a player. And I know they're easy to find on eBay, but the shipping costs for these things are ridiculous because it's like a crate of vinyl how heavy this thing is. And I'm also a cheapskate. I kind of wanted to find one for under 20 bucks, and lo and behold, I went to Goodwill, one of my favorites here in LA, and I found it. And I also found 2 James Bond movies and a David Bowie motion picture, which is basically just concert footage. Now you may be asking yourself, Geek, why are you talking about a defunct video system that went out by 1986? And to that I have to tell you that the technology behind this video system is almost identical to the one that you play your vinyl on. I'm telling you, it literally has a stylus and it plays a groove. Granted, this is a very tiny groove. It's about 657 nanometers wide, and the whole thing spins at 450 RPMs. Contrast that with your record player, it spins at 33 1/3 RPMs. Incidentally, PAL spins at 500 RPMs. Go figure. Also, unlike vinyl records, these are made from PVC with carbon added to it to make it conductive. They were coated with a silicone as a lubricant to preserve disc life and stylus life. They're actually about 30 centimeters wide with a large center hole similar to a laser disc or 45 RPM disc. The technology has been around for a long time. They were first conceived in 1964, and by 1972 it could hold about 10 minutes of video. Eventually, when they came out with these, they were able to hold an hour per side. But it wasn't until 77 that they really nailed down the technology, and they were ready to roll this thing out then. But unfortunately, they couldn't quite figure out how to deliver the media, which is this right here. I'm assuming their idea was that, hey, you already have a record player in your home, why not have home video in the same sort of technology? So they originally wanted you to be able to get a video disc, put it on a platter, put the needle on, and watch your favorite films. Unfortunately, what they discovered is with this technology, any sort of bits of dust or dirt that gets stuck onto the plane surface almost permanently damage the record to the point where it's not even watchable, it skips a lot. And so they created this very ingenious sort of system where the media is actually housed inside this, for lack of a better term, like a flattened A-track. Most of how this works really goes over my head, but let's just say it's very similar to the record player in that there's a stylus that reads the groove. But unlike a normal record player, which translates the vibrations of the groove wall into sound, the CED stylus doesn't really vibrate or move. It rather picks up an electric signal that's embedded at the bottom of the video disc, and it actually tracks across the groove. It doesn't track in an arc like a normal tone arm on a record player. Part of the reason is that because it spins so fast. Also, the tracking force is super light on this one. It's only around 65 milligrams compared to 2 to 3 grams depending on your setup. That's kind of the gist of it. All you guys really need to know is that you're essentially watching a record. It's pretty freaking cool. I'm going to show you how this works. So what you do is you put this to load. This says L. You stick this thing in all the way to the end, and then you pull it out. And then we turn on our TV, hope the volume's down, go to channel 3, wait for it to warm up a little bit, hit play. Oh, there it goes. You see it? And then we got it going. Yeah, Miramax Films. It's kind of cool if you haven't seen this one. It's a trip. So you can actually do they call it a visual search, but it's fast forward. So you can kind of see it go in fast motion. And there's Bowie. And you can also advance without looking at it, and it gives you a play time. So this is essentially counting down the minutes. So this is 11 minutes. And what would you do with that? Say you want to watch changes. Well, you would advance it to 32 minutes. So we go. And essentially the thing's just tracking along the record. And you'll notice, again, this is an old TV, but quality isn't very good. And then say you're done with this side, you just stick it in. And now this is back in there, the disc is in there, and you flip it over. It's like making pizza. Put it back in, stick it in. And then we hit play. And it's got to spin up to that 450 RPM. And there's Bo in a costume change. That's pretty cool. So you guys get the idea. That is video discs. These are CEDs. They're a funky little derailment in the progress of technology when it comes to home video, and I think they're really cool. Unfortunately, you can't really put any record into here. It's a different type of technology, although that would be really cool to see what Dark Side of the Moon would look like in this machine. It doesn't work that way. A lot of people don't know about this system. They don't even know it really exists. And part of that is because this obviously didn't sell well. You got to remember when this came out in 81, 82, Laserdisc was already well established. And then you got to remember too, VHS and Betamax were also coming out around the same time. And both those formats had a distinct advantage over this because they could record and you could also hold a lot more information. The standard video disc had a limit about 2 hours capacity-wise, and you had to flip the thing over. Inconvenient. And the resolution of this is about the same as a VHS player, and you can't really freeze frame it like you could VHS. And also VHS you could hold, gosh, 2 hours. You could even fit 6 hours at a lower quality on the same tape. So that's kind of what happened, and it just didn't take off. And by 84 they had stopped making players, and by 86 they stopped making discs altogether. Had it come out in 77, you might know about this more, but it didn't. Well, that is all the time I have for you guys. I want to thank you so much for watching and sharing in my excitement over this piece of old machinery. It's just so funny. I love this kind of stuff. I love geeking out on weird, bizarre kind of analog stuff. It's great. I am your Vinyl Geek, and I'll catch you on the flip side.